to everybody from Convergence and talk about the great work of this panel. I was lucky to work through them, and the process, not only was it really hard working on all the policy pieces, it also did something we need to be doing in the city much, much more, which is build trust between a whole lot of stakeholders who come with a whole lot of different opinions. And it wasn't hard to do. I mean, you can trust people if you listen to where they're coming from, what their ideas are, what their objectives are. There are a lot of shared values. So I'm really excited to be introducing them to come up in the stage and talk about both the process and the outcome of this Convergence panel. And thanks to everybody for joining us.
So to give you a little bit of background, the idea behind the Convergence project was to bring together unexpected and often unheard voices in the budget process conversation, to see whether there was a place to find agreement on a new structure for the process that an ideologically diverse group might be able to get behind. The B3P group is made up of leaders in organizations with broad influence on the Hill, along with a handful of experts with deep experience in the budget process. Our meetings were designed not just to talk about the budget process and how to fix it, but to build a level of trust among a group of people that didn't necessarily know each other going in and certainly didn't think they had anything in common with everybody in the room. How often do you hear the National Taxpayers Union and the Center for American Progress rolling up their sleeves and digging into a problem together? Or the Military Officers Association and First Focus, a group that advocates for children. But there they were, month after month, delving into the process, figuring out which way to turn, how far to go, and where they could find agreement. In the earliest meetings, members of the group listed the problems with the process that we'd heard in the interviews, and they found they weren't alone in their frustration. Those conversations built trust and served as the bedrock for what was to come. The group found solidarity in their shared frustrations with the uncertainty that's come to define the budget process. They may disagree on substance, but they're passionate in their desire for our government to work well. I want to give you all a chance just to talk about your personal experience with this. My first question is, why did you sign on to this project?
It was the opportunity to attempt to see if we could come up with something that's durable. I walked in with my wish list of the way I thought the budget process ought to operate, and I would hope that everyone would just agree with me and we'd be done. But that's not going to happen. And too much of our politics right now are one party or the other thinking, hey, as soon as we get the power, we're going to write it the way exactly we think it should be written, and that's going to solve our problems. One, you can't get that through the current system. But two, it won't be durable. And three, you're wasting a lot of time going through that process. So it was a very interesting dynamic to be able to get around a table and say, could we write something that looks a little bit like my priorities and a little bit like Matt's and Emily's and everyone else's in our groups, and if we all agreed, might actually be durable, and if that's proof of concept for our elected officials, all the better.